What if the wildest claims about aliens, the military, top secret government projects, what if they were actually based on someone's real experience? Welcome to the Deep Dive. We unpack stacks of sources, pull out the surprising nuggets of knowledge, and basically give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're diving into something pretty extraordinary and deeply personal. It's excerpts from Dan Sherman's book, Above Black. Now, he insists this isn't fiction.
No, he presents it as a first-level account, his own experience as an intuitive communicator for the U.S. Air Force, specifically working with the NSA.
Right, the National Security Agency. So our mission today, explore these claims. His recruitment into this super classified program, Project Preserve Destiny, or PPD,
His communications with, well, alien entities.
and the huge personal cost of keeping a secret like that. Honestly, get ready to question maybe everything you thought you knew about mankind's existence. Okay, so let's unpack this. Imagine this. You're an electronic intelligence specialist, ELINT in the Air Force. You show up for what you think is a routine class at the NSA, and bam, you get pulled into a meeting that just shatters your reality.
Yeah, Dan Sherman talks about this really unusual private meeting with a Captain White.
And the reveal is just instant cognitive dissonance, right? Captain White tells him his mother was visited by aliens, quote unquote, back in 1960 and 63.
While he was still in the womb, yeah. For genetic management, apparently.
All part of this Project Preserve Destiny, PPD. The idea was to cultivate humans with these latent intuitive communications abilities, I see.
Abilities that just lie dormant, apparently, until they're properly exercised.
And in the purpose. He was told this ability, this IC, would be absolutely crucial in the future, a future where all our normal electromagnetic communications would be, like, wiped out, useless.
It's a mind-bending thing to hear, isn't it?
Totally. And right off the bat, the instruction is absolute secrecy. Don't write anything down, don't talk to anyone about PPD unless directed.
I suppose the only small comfort was being assured he was still 100% human, despite the whole genetic management thing.
Right. Small comfort indeed.
But it really sets the stage, doesn't it? The kind of pressure, the compartmentalization demanded right from the start. It makes you wonder, how would you react if someone dropped that kind of truth bomb on you?
Exactly. And that leads straight to the next big question. How on earth do you hide something that monumental, the existence of aliens?
Well, Captain White introduced this concept, the onion effect.
Ah, yes, the onion, layers of secrecy.
Right. It really highlights the, immense resources and sheer ingenuity that might go into maintaining that level of secrecy. It's not just about files. It's about controlling reality itself.
So let's break down these layers. Level 1, the core. The alien projects themselves. Gray missions, slant missions, whatever they called them.
So secret, apparently even the base commander usually wouldn't know.
Wow. Okay, then level 2. Black missions. These were the cover stories, basically.
Known only by a tiny handful, maybe some congressmen, the president. The sort of last line of defense against anyone asking questions who didn't have the absolute need to know.
And then the outer layers are more familiar, right? Top secret, secret, FOUO.
Yeah, for official use only, plus unclassified. Standard stuff. But they also distinguish between personnel.
Right. First level, like Dan, who were in on the alien project, aware of the whole onion.
And second level, the support staff working on the black missions, but totally unaware of the actual alien connection underneath.
It's an incredibly intricate web, designed purely to keep the deepest secrets buried deep.
So with those stakes and that secrecy established, how do you actually train someone for this? To be an intuitive communicator?
It sounds pretty intense. Dan describes this isolated PPD school, transported in a van with blackout windows.
Hidden driver, strict rules, no talking to other students. Just total isolation.
And the security at the school itself, wild. Metal handplate scanner, retina scanner, an elevator with just one button.
Very sci-fi. But maybe the strangest part, these shiny gray pills he had to take every day.
Oh yeah, the pills! To facilitate his abilities.
And Captain White apparently admitted he had no idea what was in them, just that they were quite harmless.
Quite harmless from the guy who doesn't know what they are. Yeah, I'd be a little hesitant.
Me too. So the actual training, it started with line flattening.
Right, on a big computer screen, seeing sine waves and mentally humming tones to make the lines go flat.
Sounds tough at first, but then he describes this breakthrough like a click sensation.
And then it progressed, right, flattening multiple lines at once.
Exactly. And then assigning meaning to the movements. First numbers, using some kind of metric system with phase angles.
Then concepts, pictures, even videos, he said it wasn't really a language.
No, more like sensing a tapestry, he called it, touching and feeling this complex pattern.
That's fascinating. It goes way beyond our normal senses, doesn't it? That tapestry idea. It makes you wonder, what does that imply about human consciousness? What potential is there?
A big question.
Yeah.
But amidst all this high-tech mental training, Dan noticed something mundane, a white van.
The white van mystery. This leads to his own theory, doesn't it?
It does. He accidentally saw this van, specific dent and all, in the PPD garage. Then later, he spots what looks like the same van near a noise cancellation company.
And Captain White just never acknowledges his snooping, which of course just makes him think more.
So Dan starts theorizing about advanced noise cancellation. Negative phase theory frequencies 180 degrees out of phase cancel each other out.
And he wonders, could you apply that to light? For invisibility? Or even propulsion?
He speculated that maybe that was the black project covering PPD at the school, some kind of advanced physics based on noise cancellation.
It's his way of trying to connect the dots in this secret world. He also learned to report his comms using a blank screen interface.
Showed name Staunch 118, typing on a black screen so nobody nearby could see. More layers of security.
So after all this intense training, the moment arrives, his first actual communication, he gets moved to PPD base, #1.
And gets another one of those third-party introductions to his new boss, Captain Stanley.
Who interestingly briefs him on the onion effect, but only up to the black mission level. Still compartmentalized.
Even the commander isn't fully in the loop. So, first shift as a certified crew member, bam, he gets an intuitive message. Prepare for information string.
But the first communications were kind of boring, actually.
Yeah, routine stuff. Numerical strings, his identifier 118, a 5-digit zip code. This came from his first alien contact.
The one he nicknamed Spock.
Right, because the comms felt so logical, so structured.
But then, during one of these routine comms with Spock, something totally unexpected happens.
He accidentally discovers this other plane of communication.
Yeah, like a sudden mental leap. He described it as a screeching sound, like from a reed instrument.
And this other plane, this is astonishing. It's just interactions the program itself never even planned for.
So what did Spock do?
Spock seemed surprised, asked if Dan did it on purpose, but then confirmed, no harm, it's okay to communicate like this.
And
the kicker is Spock reveals that communications on this plane, they weren't being monitored by Dan's human superiors.
Wow.
Because it was never anticipated for water humans, that's Spock's term, for us to access it.
So suddenly he has a direct unmonitored channel. That changes everything, doesn't it? What kind of stuff could they talk about now?
Exactly. And Spock did share some things, like Greys are quite alike in emotional makeup, but way less impacted by feelings. Emotion isn't readily useful to them without strong stimuli.
A very different way of being. And Spock would just sign off abruptly.
Yeah, Dan got used to that. Just gone.
So his journey continues. New base, new commander, new contact. He gets transferred to PPD base, #2, much bigger place.
Another third-party intro, this time to Captain Gregory. Seems like this commander knew even less, communicated mostly by email.
And Dan starts getting comms from a different entity.
Right, he senses a different texture. Nicknames this one Bones.
Why Bones?
He felt Bones seemed more human, more readily apparent emotions compared to Spock.
And did Bones react the same way to the other plane?
Pretty much. Similar reaction to Spock, surprised, but confirmed no harm, no monitoring. And interestingly, Bones said there were no specifications on the formality for this higher plane chat. Basically, they can talk freely.
Okay, so what did Bones reveal on this unmonitored channel? This is where it gets deep, right?
Oh, yeah. Big topics, like existence and spirituality. Bones apparently said any entity aware of its own existence has intellect, therefore a soul.
We're all from the same oneness.
Right. Intellectual, non-intellectual life, all part of it. And on God. Bones's answer was cryptic. The question you ask answers itself.
Which Dan took to mean, yes, there's a shared God or source.
Then there was time and travel. Bones said they aren't bound by time like we are. They still age, but use time manipulation for travel.
Not through time, like Back to the Future style.
No, more like around and from time. Dan admitted he couldn't fully grasp it.
I don't blame him. How did they travel?
Using time and electromagnetic energy for propulsion. Again, way beyond our physics.
What about visits to Earth?
Bones confirmed they've been visiting us water vessels for a very long time. Visited past cultures. Incas, Mayans, Egyptians.
But direct contact back then didn't turn out well.
Apparently not. Easier to visit back then, but revealing themselves globally now? Bones said it's not a worthwhile endeavor.
It makes you wonder what went wrong in the past, doesn't it?
Definitely. Bones also touched on possible interbreeding, which made Dan think about the Basque people with their unique language and genetics.
Just speculation, though.
Purely Dan's speculation, yeah. Bones confirmed vast numbers of other intelligences out there. And yes, they have sexes, 2 of them, and procreate, but differently than us.
Lifespan.
Similar to humans, maybe shorter. Dan found their time measurements confusing.
And energy.
Bones called our sun very unique. Said someday we'll understand how it really works and use its energy on smaller scales. Something their scientists were just starting to figure out, too.
Wow. The sheer breadth of topics there. Time, theology, energy futures, these are huge universal questions.
It suggests a species with perspectives that just dwarf our current understanding. You have to ask, how would our science, our philosophy, change if this knowledge got out?
Absolutely. Although, speaking of knowledge, Bones wouldn't share.
Right. He consistently clammed up about that noise cancellation technology theory Dan had.
And refused to discuss the ultimate purpose of Project Preserve Destiny itself.
Yeah, he'd just sign off abruptly whenever those came up, which naturally just made Dan even more curious.
But as Dan's abilities grew stronger, the communications took a darker turn, didn't they? Leading to a real personal crisis for him.
Yeah, the comms became more pictorial than even spoken and started including, well, abduction-related data.
What kind of data?
Detailed reports. Categories like potentiality for recall, residual pain level, nerve response, body normalization, plus exact map coordinates.
Where were these happening?
He noted they were all within the continental U.S. Florida panhandle. Upstate New York, Wisconsin were examples he gave.
And this data was ambiguous.
Very. A scale of 1 to 100. But he didn't know what 1 meant or what 100 meant. It was deeply frustrating for him and deeply unsettling.
This is where it really started weighing on him, wasn't it? He felt these abductions, whatever their purpose, treated the people involved like objects.
Exactly. For some higher calling, as he put it, with the abductees' feelings just disregarded. It made him think about his own mother's experience.
The bitterness really started to build. He felt trapped, you know? He had this important ability, but felt like a total underling.
Stuck in a classified cage, wanting to tell the world, but completely unable to. This is where the ethical weight becomes really heavy, isn't it?
Definitely. At what point does a perceived greater good justify trampling on individual well-being?
A crucial question. So he tried to get out through normal channels, right? An early discharge.
Yeah, but no dice. Denied.
And then came the final straw. That email from Captain Gregory.
The PPD commander basically saying, nope, you're indoctrinated. You can never get out, not even when your enlistment ends.
That sealed it for him. He resolved to get out at all costs.
So, cornered, he took drastic action. He doesn't spell out exactly what he did.
No. He mentions self-incrimination legalities. But he regretted being forced into it, saw it as the only way to break free from the PPD chain of command completely.
And did it work?
Instantly. The moment he submitted the paperwork, he says, all comms, all PPD contact is just stopped. As if I had dropped off the face of the earth.
Total cutoff.
It really shows that binary control, doesn't it? You're either completely in or you're completely out.
Huh.
No halfway. Makes you wonder what happens to the knowledge when someone is cut off like that. Is it just gone?
Good question. So he was out. Relief, obviously, but mixed feelings, too.
Yeah, regret about how his military career ended, missing serving his country in other ways. A very human reaction to an utterly inhuman situation.
But leaving PPD, that wasn't quite the end of the strangeness, was it? He carried more than just memories.
It seems so. He talks about developing this seismic sensing ability.
Seismic sensing, like earthquakes.
Yeah, a physical feeling, like an electrical on one side of his head. It correlated with major quakes, 6.7 plus Richter, usually within 72 hours. He claimed over 70% accuracy.
Is there any proof of that?
Well, he points to vlog posts he apparently wrote back in September 2004. He predicted big quakes in Japan based on how intense the hum was.
And didn't he predict something huge?
Ominously, yes. He warned of something absolutely devastating coming. 4 months before the massive Indian Ocean tsunami hit on December 26, 2004.
Wow. So is this linked to the genetic management, a side effect?
It certainly makes you wonder, doesn't it? The potential link between that intervention and this completely different, seemingly pre-existing ability. What else might be possible?
It raises that question again. Are there others out there, other intuitive communicators with maybe totally different side effect abilities who don't even know it?
It's possible. And Dan looks back at his whole life wondering about other PPD interventions.
Like his birth.
Yeah, his mom's difficult pregnancy, doctors giving him low odds, but he's born normal. Given the genetic management claim, he wonders.
And that fall.
Right. Age 7, falls 25 feet onto concrete, lands on his back, feels zero pain. Describes this large source of energy completely taking over my body.
If these things, the birth, the fall, are connected to PPD, it suggests planning and monitoring on an incredible, maybe even generational timescale.
It's mind-boggling. And then there's the SR-71 pilot he met as a kid.
Major Roberts, the one who inspired him to join the Air Force in the first place.
Dan speculates maybe the SR-71 program itself was an early black mission cover for a gray project. And maybe that pilot was PPD, subtly planting the seed for Dan's future role.
It's a chain of coincidences that,
Yeah.
well, maybe aren't coincidences at all if his story is true. So we've gone through this labyrinth. Military secrets, alien contact, intuitive powers, immense personal sacrifice, all through Dan Sherman's account. If it's true, even partly true, it really forces you to rethink reality.
Absolutely. From ET intelligence to hidden government control to human potentials we haven't even dreamed of.
And for you, the learner, listening in, this deep dive gives a unique peek into a hidden world, pushes the boundaries of what we think is possible.
It's also a stark reminder, isn't it? Knowledge is powerful, but it can come at a steep price. The search for truth can be isolating.
So what does all this mean for you? If Sherman's right, if Earth is geologically young and expecting big changes, if our communications could just fail one day.
What unseen forces might be shaping our future? And what abilities might you or people around you possess that are still untapped, undiscovered?
Reminds me of that line from Matthew. Ask and it shall be given you, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. So keep asking those questions, keep seeking, keep knocking.
Reflect on Dan's incredible story. And consider, what other hidden truths might just be waiting out there to be uncovered?